Hello everyone. I have spent over 100 days in Minecraft to prove myself that I am ready for a bigger challenge. I managed to grow from a small hole in the ground to a fully functioning settlement. To pass this path of evolution with me, then sit back, make some tea and get some cookies and we'll get started. By the way, this is my very first video of this plan, so please do not throw slippers, because I really tried hard to make cool. Let's go. Let's get started on creating our new world. I have appeared in the biome savanna, and the first thing I will do is to search for a tree. I am very lucky to appear here, as I will need acacia wood planks in the future. I cut down a tree and make my first workbench and wooden axe. After gathering some more wood, I started hunting for food to kickstart my survival journey. It was crucial for me to gather as many initial resources as possible to feel more comfortable later on. And just look at this, my first bed peacefully rests on the grass. What a beautiful sight. My plan is to start the game by finding a village with villagers, block them inside their houses to protect them from zombies and creepers, and settle down in one of the houses. After that, I can begin my search for the first coal and iron. Just take a look at the amazing views unfolding before us. And we've just found a village, which means our adventure is beginning. As soon as we found the village, our task is to protect as many villagers as possible from nighttime monster attacks. I took a block in my hand and began blocking off all the houses that currently had villagers inside. The day came to an end, and I took advantage of an available bed to spend the night. On the second day, I decided to prepare resources for building my house. First, I crafted a wooden pickaxe and headed to a small area behind the village. I planted all the saplings I had in my inventory to grow these trees and started digging underground. First, I prepared a small room to place chests for storing accumulated resources, furnaces for smelting, and a workbench. This room will serve as protection from monsters if my excavations extend into the late night. For additional safety, I constructed a roof-like structure over the entrance and sealed it with a door. Having prepared the necessary storage areas and crafted several stone pickaxes, I set out to dig deeper, hoping to come across a resource-rich cave. After digging down to the level where I can find iron and gold, I plan to create a network of tunnels, each 2 blocks apart from the other. This way, the efficiency of my exploration significantly increases. I've also come across some gold ore, but I can't mine it right now as I need an iron pickaxe. I'll leave that for later. I also found a small cave which, unfortunately, led to a dead end. I started digging more and more tunnels like a mad excavator, hoping to find the necessary resources. By the way, I managed to find some iron, but the damn coal didn't want to spawn. Started laying steps up the tunnel so I don't have to force myself to jump every time I get out. I can finally start roasting all the iron I've mined. Not as much as I would have liked, but still enough for the initial tools and armor. Spoiler, I didn't have enough for pants, so in order not to freeze my dignity, I had to create them out of gold. I'll also make myself a shield eventually to protect myself from archer skeletons. And look at that happy face. Now I can walk through the woods without fear of getting hit on the head by a zombie. I decided to cut down one tree to plant its seedlings closer to my bunker. I also planted some of the bamboo I found. And now we can start a little clearing of the area for the construction of my dwelling. It was decided to demolish a small hill next to my bunker. A dozen broken shovels later, we can start marking out the foundation of our house. I will have to go on a sea voyage to get the necessary blocks. The task is to find all the necessary trees and their saplings for further growing at my base. I found a treasure map on some shipwreck and, of course, I didn't videotape the moment. Let's see if we can find it. Take everything from that chest and move on. A little soaked in the rain. A little sweaty under the desert sun. I reached the first location I needed, the forest of dark oak. And, of course, we will collect its saplings. Say goodbye to the forest of dark oak. Let's keep swimming. On my way I encountered some obscure aerial structures, huge mesmerizing rocks against the backdrop of sunset, creating very beautiful views. And eventually, I made it to the most desirable tree for my survival. A spruce tree. Started chopping spruce trees like a mad lumberjack, got some seedlings, and when I returned, I made a small platform above the ground to plant the spruce trees. I also planted a dark oak and a birch. I'm going to need these trees when I build my house. That way I won't have to swim to find them anymore. Before building the house, I thought about planting a small field of wheat in the area in front of the house. I also wanted to provide food, just so I wouldn't be distracted by looking for meat while building. We'll change the landscape a bit and make the ground for the field flatter. After a hard day's work, let's enjoy the beautiful view of my bunker and go to bed. The next step in creating a small field is to fill this entire crater with dirt. Let's take a few stacks from the chest and get to work. In between, my first spruce tree has grown and it's ready to be cut down. We'll collect all the fallen seedlings. Meanwhile, some uninvited guests came to my house. To wait out their invasion, I started roasting a cow in the company of a cow. The next morning I began marking out the area for future pens for my animals, which I would most likely steal from the villagers' village. Also going to make a path with a shovel, just to make it look nice. Now we can start creating and sowing the wheat field. We'll make it right next to the animal pen, just because I'm lazy and don't really like to run far for resources. Look at this amazing field. It looks cool. I'll also plant some bamboo next to my wheat field, just for atmosphere. I may need it in the future. And also some sugarcane along the shore. I'll steal some wheat from the villagers, just because mine hasn't grown yet. It's time to bait my future steaks to the farm where they will graze and breed. Sometimes it takes a very long time to find animals, but thanks to the fact that I have the ability to steal all the creatures from the villagers, it's not too difficult. I think they will forgive me for stealing. Anyway, if you are watching this video and you are a resident of this village, I invite you to use my farm, so that I can redeem myself to you. Look at that! The pigs have a baby piglet. Oh, you're so cute! The next animals in my pen will be chickens. We will bait 2 individuals for reproduction. Once all the animals have been captured and put in captivity, we can enjoy the work done and begin the next stage. I would like all the creatures in the enclosure to feel more comfortable, and to do this I will build them a roof over their heads. Just because I can. And it looks cool. We will put 1 carpet on each fence so we can climb inside. The roof of the barn will be made of dark oak slabs. Nothing supernatural or unusual about the construction, but it will add a little charm to my farm, as well as 5 points to construction and design for me. I think I've done a wonderful job. What do you think? Leave a comment. Now let's get back to building the house. We'll put the chest for storing resources and start collecting them. I will need a lot of spruce logs and planks, so we will cut them as they grow. Let's expand the growth platform of our spruce trees a little more, so that the seedlings don't fall downward. We'll also plant a small plantation of spruce trees. The next resources will be acacia logs, stone, cobblestone, and to get some deep cobblestone we'll have to go down to the cave and fight with a few creepers and skeleton archers. I can't say I'm much of a fan of deep cave travel, but with enough torches in reserve I can secure it a bit to keep my neighbors safe from screams of horror at 2 in the night, from a creeper hissing and exploding right behind me. But, most of the time, you can find a lot of iron in these caves, which is exactly what I will need to make lanterns for my house. Let's get some before I'm killed. Meanwhile, our spruce tree wall has grown and is waiting for us to cut it down. Build a small tower with a ladder to climb up and jump on the spruce tree, so we don't have to cut something like a ladder in the trunk of the tree. That's very convenient. There is a nice view of my property from the top of this tree. After the job was done, we had 6.5 stacks of spruce logs. That's pretty cool. Now let's prepare some necessary materials with you to build and decorate the house. I want to use acacia trapdoors, spruce stairs, and spruce slabs for the decor. Let's start building by arranging the spruce logs around the perimeter of the walls, also let them out a little outside, so as to give some volume, and give our walls the look of a log cabin. Using slabs and stairs to give some volume to our window frames. Some dude came to see what I'm doing here. Don't worry, man. You're safe. Let's get him in the boat so he doesn't run away. We continue the construction by placing a foundation of polished andesite, as well as using acacia trapdoors for decoration. This pattern will be applied to almost all vertical and horizontal floor joists in our house. And add some oak stairs here. Now cut a bit of oak leaves to diversify the color palette of the wall a bit and give it a cozy feel. Place the leaves. Now place the doors made of acacia wood. Add a pressing plate to the spruce plank floor. Let's make sure everything works cool. We'll have lanterns as lighting. And voila! A great result, don't you think? We continue the construction on the east wall side. The inner walls will be made of spruce planks as before. We will also add a funny staircase for an additional way to get to the second floor and the balcony. Decorate the whole thing with acacia trapdoors and oak leaves. We will also add railings made of trapdoors, and framing the balcony terrace will be a fence made of cobblestones, which looks awesome. Now let's prepare some spruce trapdoors and cobblestone stairs to diversify the pattern. We continue building the walls, sticking to the chosen style of our house. Added some chests behind the house to create a cozy storage area. As you can see, our kid is safe and relaxing in the boat. I see you invited a friend. The construction of the second floor also begins with the installation of a frame of spruce logs. One of the differences between the second floor and the first will be the presence of barrels as one of the decorative elements, as well as an iron fence in place of the window, and small patterns on the walls made of spruce trapdoors. I have not yet decided whether to make a ceiling between the attic and the second floor. I want to have a second floor higher than the first. Perhaps when we create the interior for the house with you, we will decorate the ceiling of the second floor with some cool chandeliers or something like that. A little chopping down of the spruce wall to replenish resources. The entrance to the second floor is done. I like the look of this checkerboard pattern inside the room, but outside I'd rather cover it with spruce trapdoors. Let's add some more functionality to this wall by placing chests along the roofline and placing more lanterns. More light means fewer monsters, that's what my grandfather taught me. And to finish building the final wall, we'll add a small cross pattern of stairs and more acacia and spruce trapdoors. And look at the result, even without a roof, the house looks awesome. Even my grandma appreciated it. She also said to put a like if you liked it too. Having taken another look at the resulting building, I decided to build the roof from deep cobblestone stairs, diluting it a little with stone stairs at the base. And taking a sip of tea, I set about completing the construction. We put the final stairs in place and lay the roof support beams inside, just for looks. We'll also cover some areas with spruce planks. Believe it or not, I felt like a legendary builder after finishing building the house. The result was very awesome. Write in the comments, how would you rate this house? As I moved forward with my plan, I was approaching the need to build a farm for the villagers. I would need a certain amount of carrots, so I started planting all my stock of this vegetable. Fed the starving animals in the pens. At some point I wondered, why the hell am I still sleeping outside? Pulled my bed under the roof. Now wondering where to build the villagers' farm? Perhaps on the shore, or closer to the main village? After taking another look at the situation, I decided to choose the second option. And now I'll explain why. If I chose to build on the shore, I would have to carry the villagers by boat, and lift them with the help of pistons to overcome the hills, and I didn't really want to do that. So, I started to light and level the site for the future farm right in this small lowland. I marked out the area of the future vegetable garden where the two nosy ones would breed and began to fill it with dirt. The area is filled in, now let's do the bottom. We're going to level the walls a little bit, for the system of gathering dudes in one spot. The garden is built, the premises are ready, let's get down to the farm itself. Create some spruce fences to prevent our nosy ones from escaping. With the fences in place, let's get to the collection system. The collection system will be a small 2 by 1 block pit with open trapdoors. Also, we will create something like a house, where newborn villagers will run to jump on beds. A little decor and the house took on a very cozy look. Besides a vegetable garden and a house for the villagers, I needed to go down into the mine to find as many rails as possible, as well as iron and gold to make minecarts and power rails. In the cave I found a spider spawner and quite a large amount of strings. By the way, I've dug up a large stockpile of rails and iron ore, stocked up on strings, and even found another cave spider spawner. Theoretically, I could set up an experience farm on spiders in this place later on. And I probably will, but first let's take care of breeding the villagers. I had to go even deeper underground to find the redstone. And even found my very first diamond. Make the items we need, such as the redstone block, the dispenser, and the power rails. After procuring the necessary items, let's gather some sand on the shore and create glass, so that we can visually assess the functionality of our farm. And believe me, there will be a lot of villagers. Let's create the mechanism itself for picking up future traders with the minecart. And now the vegetable garden, we'll set up the composters and cover them with solid blocks so that villagers don't throw away what they've collected and jump on them for nothing. Not forgetting to shear the sheep, let's pick the grown carrots for further planting in the field for the farm. It's a 5-minute job, plow and plant. We arrange the beds in the necessary sequence and go to catch the villagers. We were very lucky, the first farmer came to apply for a job himself. It took a bit of effort to catch the next villager. He was trying to run away and did not want to get into the boat, but luckily this process did not take too long. Let's take him to the farm. Blocking all possible escape routes, I'm sending him straight to a permanent job. Well, it's time to look at the result of the work. The guys are already hard at work on the field. At the bottom of the farm we have a pipe, into which the villagers will fall. On the right is a water stream that will collect them in one spot. At the bottom is a system of rails and dispenser, which at the press of a button will feed a minecart, and the minecart will pick up a villager and transport him to any point where I will run the rails. As soon as I started decorating the lower space, the farmhouse started working. I decided to make a small space, covered by a roof, to the left of the villagers' collection area and plan to place some archer villagers there, to trade sticks with them. Let's create some archer posts and get our transportation mechanism up and running. At some point, I realized something had gone wrong. I tried several times to rebuild the mechanism, but the damn minecart did not want to go, and just jumped in place. Tried to start it from the other side. I've already gone through a bunch of options in my head as to why it doesn't want to go. Maybe water dripped on the rails and shorted out? Even outside, in the sunny weather, the freaking minecart bounced like a leper, as if mocking me. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I used the wrong rails. Instead of energy rails, I used pressure rails. The minecart started, but for some damn reason, it didn't pick up the villager. I figured out this problem a little quicker. The rails under the villager's collection point were set on the wrong block. After fixing this misunderstanding, I finally got the villager minecart running. And now, our first villager is ready to become an arrow merchant and stick fence. I was very happy about this happening. I even traded with him a bit and earned my first emeralds, anticipating how extremely rich I would be soon. At this time, a bunch of some bums tried to come in my back door, but I was a little stronger and showed them who's boss. After a couple of cups of tea, I was enjoying the view of my Chamber of Commerce, which will be developed further. It was decided to create some coziness in this corner and redesign the exterior a bit by adding leaves and trapdoors. Just the way I like it. And of course, the result. Pretty cool, huh? Of course, something had to be done with the entrance, and I decided to go with the same style as when I built my house. Let's take a little room tour. How's that look? Now that we have the original merchants to earn emeralds and a wall of spruce trees to cut down, we can start expanding the trading hall. Let's dig deep underground, where the rest of the traders will be located. The very first, I would like to make toolmaker, gunsmith and armorer, just because I almost never get diamonds in the mines, and we will be able to equip the best armor without mining. First, let's start by creating a box out of spruce planks so this room doesn't look like a cave. At the same time, you may notice that villagers are piling up more and more. Let's lay the rails down and get to work on the decor. I have an idea to use more barrels in the decor, as in addition to the interesting appearance will add more functionality to the room, as well as barrels will allow you to store resources from trade right on the spot. Oh. A couple of guys trying to escape from Shawshank. They'll be fine, we'll switch to mining resources for trade. We will expand the platform for cutting spruce trees, and there is also a plan to plant a whole bunch of bamboo. It's easy to cut down with a sword, it grows fast, and it can also be used to make sticks. Just an extra way to get more sticks if you get tired of chopping spruce trees. In between, a traveling merchant came by and I bought a couple of glowing stones from him. I've been thinking about an additional way to make money from villagers. Sticks are nice, but I could also build a small cane farm to trade with the librarians. After collecting some dirt, I decided to use the bay near where the spruce trees were cut. The construction was easy and meditative. Of course, I could have set aside a piece of field for sugarcane, but then I would have had to carry buckets of water and pour them into the ditches next to the sugarcane. In this case, however, there are more advantages. I don't have to level the area for planting and, if desired, the farm can be extended as far out to sea as I want. It's a cool way of doing things, I haven't used it before. In between, while the cane is growing, we trade with the villagers. The result of cutting down the spruce tree wall was almost 3 whole stacks of emeralds. While our sugar cane farm is growing, I made the decision to trade with our first toolsmith. After spending some time buying and discarding stone axes, I managed to level him up, and now he's offering to buy me this fancy shovel for level 3 efficiency. It digs turf much slower than dirt. After a couple more cups of tea, I can finally buy my very first diamond pickaxe. And so as not to get long in getting weapons, we'll make a weaponsmith right away. In order to upgrade my gunsmith, I will need coal and iron. It's time to head to the mine for these resources, as well as test out the new pickaxe a bit. After digging a very long distance at a height where I can meet diamonds and iron, I came across another cave, in which I even tried to hit one zombie in gold armor on the head with a shovel. When I got tired of working in the tunnels, I started chopping bamboo and getting leather from the cows. But in order not to reduce their population too much, I had to work a little in the garden to harvest wheat. Once my plantation was restarted, I fed almost all my animals and went to check my sugarcane farm for a fresh resource. I was shocked. My small farm brought me almost 10 stacks of sugarcane in one go. Very efficient. When I finished with the cane, I created books, bookshelves and lecterns in the necessary quantity. The goal was to get some enchanted books from the librarian. My first book I got from the librarian was a level 5 efficiency book. I ran to check on my cane, but it refused to grow as fast as I wanted it to. I had to cut bamboo to trade with the villagers' archers. And after a few hours of training the weaponsmith, he finally agreed to sell me the diamond axe I had been waiting for so long. I added a diamond sword to my shopping list, and feeling stronger, I decided to even make a diamond helmet. Look at that happy face. The weather outside the window had turned bad, and some endermen got stuck in my bamboo. I decided to lie down to rest. After waking up, I wanted to add some light to my trading hall, and for that I made glowing font on some villagers' signs. I decided to go down to the cave for another batch of iron and diamonds. I wanted to make an anvil to enchant new tools and armor. In the caves as usual, I was already waiting for armored zombies, which I easily dealt with a diamond sword. After dealing with a few more mobs and lighting up the area, it was time to get out to the surface. Eventually, I was able to afford an anvil. I ran like a madman to break cane with my bare hands and trade with the villagers. There was no time to lose. After purchasing the necessary enchanted books, I put them on my axe and rushed to test it out. Gosh, how fast it was now possible to knock down a wall of spruce. After the test, I converted everything into sticks and sold them to the archers, and with the proceeds it was decided to create another librarian and buy a mending book from him. In addition to mending, I spent probably about 20 minutes getting my fortune book out. I missed a level 2 fortune once, in hopes of getting a level 3 book, but damn, that was a mistake. Seeing the level 2 fortune again, I decided to buy it. Combining 2 fortune books into one level 3 fortune, I immediately enchanted my pickaxe. I also added mending. Using a pickaxe with such strong enchantments, at this stage I stopped feeling the lack of resources such as coal, iron or diamonds. After digging up a couple of diamonds, I was even able to make a chest piece right away. I even had enough change for diamond leggings. In the end, I decided to find a portal to the end. But to achieve this goal, I first needed to find enough ender pearls. For this purpose, I started to build a portal to the underworld. After entering the underworld and assessing the situation, I suddenly remembered that I could be attacked by pylons if I wasn't wearing some piece of gold armor. So I made a quick run home and made gold boots. Also, for extra safety, I created a box of cobblestones around the portal frame to protect myself from aerial attacks. The terrain was quite vast, and I could also hear ghasts screaming nearby. Before I started searching for the fortress of the underworld, I couldn't resist the temptation to find netherite ore. To do so, I dug to the right height and started drilling tunnels. And to my surprise, it didn't take long for the first netherite to reap. When I got home, I said hello to the guys and went to melt down some netherite scrap, of which I found as many as 8 pieces. After creating 2 ingots of netherite, I rushed to my toolsmith to use his table. And the first things I converted to netherite were of course the pickaxe and chest piece. In order not to stretch the video too much, I ran a few more times to the underworld to get netherite, and after some time spent drilling tunnels, I could afford to convert a full set of armor into netherite armor. Even got an achievement for it. Once I put the armor on, I was very satisfied. After all, the best armor in the game. And let's get back to the topic of obtaining ender pearls. After killing a couple of endermen in the distorted forest and passing a fairly large number of blocks in the lower world, given that the roads had to be built under the ceiling and over lava lakes, at some point I came upon a fortress of the underworld. As I moved through the fortress, I built up all the paths with half blocks so that the visor skeletons couldn't kick my ass. Well, and also because I was scared, because in the lower world is very dark. After returning home with my loot, I set about remaking ender pearls and ifrit rods into eyes of enders to guide me to the nearest fortress. After trying to throw a couple of them, I found out that the fortress was in the direction of my mind. However, before I go to the gate to the end, I need to prepare a little more seriously than I have now. My armor and weapons have the mending enchantment on them, which means I need to get experience somewhere. The closest source of infinite experience to my house is a spider spawner. I decided to quickly convert the spawner I found into an experience farm. I understand that a farm on a single spawner is not efficient enough, but I can say with certainty that it is more than enough to repair armor and weapons relatively quickly, as well as having a sword with the enchantment for looting the 3rd level. I can additionally sell threads to archers, having from this additional income. Turning off the lights and clearing a path to the spawner, I descended a small spider killing room and began fixing my gear. The experience from killing spiders was quite enough, but I had to wait for some time to gather a big pack of these monsters. So I would leave the character waiting in this room, and I would go off to make tea and do various household chores. After making sure the farm was working as it should, I fixed all my equipment, gathered my thoughts, and was now as ready as possible to go to the Ender Dragon. Tossing the eyes of the Enders and following them, I made my way through forests, mountains and fields closer and closer to the fortress. At some point, the Ender's Eye flew in the other direction, which meant that I was near the fortress. When I found the right spot, I started digging down. To my surprise, I dug a tunnel straight into the room with the portal. To be honest, when playing on other worlds, I didn't have as much luck as I did here. I had to spend 11 Eyes of Enders to activate the portal. Thank goodness I had just the right amount of them. After further manipulating the portal to the underworld, I made my way to the portal leading to my base, set up a spawn point on my bed, and headed back to the end via the underworld. Drilling up the stairs to the top, using my bow I began destroying the crystals that heal the dragon. At some point, I got stupid. I had 1 arrow and 2 bows in my inventory. One bow was enchanted for infinity, allowing me to shoot with only 1 arrow. And the other was enchanted for level 1 unbreaking. And you know which bow I launched that 1 arrow from? That's right. The unbreaking bow. The rest of the fight I had to spend running from side to side to escape the dragon's breath, and in the moments of its landing hit him on the head with an axe. But as you can already see, it goes quite well. I stole the dragon egg and went home. After watching the long-awaited credits, I put the dragon egg in the chest, leaving it until better times. But something told me that I couldn't end my survival just like that. I decided to bring some life to my little village, finally build some stairs and roads, add some trees and greenery. After creating some Jack's pumpkins for lighting, I started working on the area across from the main entrance to my residence. Planted a small oak tree, built a piece of fence for coziness, and managed to grow a huge tree near the bamboo plantation. I also added some decorative lighting bought from villagers' librarians and decided to make a small space in front of the house. In my opinion, it will look very nice. I used blocks of different colors, from dark to light, but sticking to the gray scale. Add some half blocks around the perimeter to give volume. Let's consider them as such borders. I also built a miniature staircase leading to the beach and started to get some leaves for the landscaping. I want to create a couple of bushes and short trees, which will make the area near the house even more cozy. Take a look at the result of the work done. What do you think? In between, I redesigned the inside of the house, and probably one of the last items on my wish list was to finally redo the road leading to my tradesman's house. Having prepared some blocks, I started laying them down, creating a pattern similar to the plaza in front of the house to keep the same style. I also had to raise the dirt level 1 block up, but that's a small thing. Added a groovy fishing area made of spruce planks. Changed the design of the portal a bit, making something like a cave. And in the end, this is what we got. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment if you would like to see the next episode. To be fair, if this video gets 500 likes, I will record the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I tried to make sure you guys liked it.